as an overview, as a generalization, I have all these different ways that new leads can come into my system.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
let's say I'm using social to push out a Facebook ad. That ad pushes them to the Facebook page. That Facebook page sends them, they decide to send me a text to figure out, as a first bite or whatever it may be. And they all become, at some level, a lead, qualified or unqualified, into my system.
Is it coming directly to the CRM or it's going through other places?
Well, the plan is to put them all into the CRM from wherever I'm at. I mean, so most of these have some sort of webhook or something like that where I can get it, even if it's some other harvesting idea. But I'm gonna put them in Zoho, which has to be the center hub of the whole deal. So somehow or another, they're going to get into that group.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I thought that like Marketing Hub and Blueprint were the only two tools in the toolbox. And then I watched your show on your YouTube channel on Command Center. And so now I think everything's awesome because I don't have to necessarily, like from a lead status, I don't have to necessarily put that as a drop-down pick list. I can move all the way around and just see where my leads are within a certain group that are in there, which is crazy cool. So I don't have to come up with a linear way to make that happen. And so,
yep, that's right.
So the question is I can see where I could push things into Zoho, tell it, like my lead status is like cold A, and then I've got another status that's cold B, and that's for Facebook people that come in, and cold C and all the rest of that stuff, which sounds crazy technical.
That's right.
Use as a handoff, would it be better to use Marketing Hub to Zoho CRM and then back to Command Center?
I personally have a problem with Marketing Hub.
Okay.
I don't know. Even though Marketing Hub's supposed to be a great tool for marketers to drive traffic and run automations, whatever it can do, I can do better than that in CRM without the complexity of Marketing Hub, unless someone will come with something that Marketing Hub can do in a better way.
Okay, so leaving Marketing Hub out, regardless of how I'm putting out my advertisements or whatever it may be, where my starting point needs to be with that person who's trying to get in contact with me in one way or another needs to be at CRM then?
Yeah, for sure. Whenever you have incoming leads, they need to flow into your CRM section. And in the CRM, you need to know what is the lead source. If it's Facebook, if it's Google, cold calls, personal touch, whatever it is, and also the campaign. Because in Facebook, you will have multiple campaigns. Each campaign is supposed to get the attribution in a different way, right?
So if I create a record, like I have the system create a lead for me, it's going to bring that data with it, right? What campaign it came from and how they came in there, and I can make conditions based on those.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. So, absolutely.
So the next question is that I can see where I can run individual blueprints, kind of back to back, with a few little workflows and things like that. But can I use Command Center like some sort of overlay and then use like individual blueprints inside of that for the more complex things that stays all on one module?
Yeah, so it's or you're using Command Center or you're using workflows. Because if you think about it, a workflow is a set of automation that's running based on criteria and is some kind of an action, some trigger that will create this automation. The Command Center is exactly the same. It's every button in the Command Center will be triggered based on set of criteria, and you can report about it, and in the same time you can also run some automations on it. So it's or you're using the workflows or you're using the command center.
Okay. Well, let me tell you the specific thing that I've got to do. I've got two different type of new clients. Let's say one are people who want a loan, and the other people are real estate professionals who I want to work with and have them do referrals. And so technically they're almost the same type of deal, except they're going to be on vastly different, marketing programs that I put in there. And so my thought process is that while every real estate person I'm going to want to keep track of long term, and so there'll be a contact when they get into the system. Like the moment I start them, they'll be as a contact. Whereas the borrowers who I may do one deal with them in a lifetime, they'll be starting as a lead until they're fully qualified and ready to go. They don't make that journey over to contact. However, once they make it over to contact, you've already written, or Luis has already written a script for me to convert it over to a deal with two contacts from the lead module as a conversion.
The husband and the wife.
Right. So starting right there, is that better? Can we do that better in Command Center, or is it okay just to leave it back out there as a part of a blueprint or a workflow? Because that's my understanding of Command Center, is that you transcend, you can see how the conversion from lead to contact, and then get into your deal and do certain things with your deal, and then come back and do stuff on your contact and go in between and see at least some sort of flow that happens all the way through a lead to closing a deal. So
let's see if I have here a Command Center. I don't have here. When you have the Command Center, you have two things that you can enjoy by using a Command Center. One is a visual representation of how many people went into each funnel and being distributed across the journey. Another one is automations that you can run in the background. Okay. Now, if you already have processes that are in place, you can have them in the Command Center, but without actions. For example, when a lead is being converted, this is probably what Luis did for you. When a lead is converted, then it's grabbing the husband, the wife, and pushing them into an account, right? Or a deal.
Which becomes a trigger for the Command Center to move them to the next state. Is that the way that works?
That's right, exactly. So let's build something here. Let's just give it a name. So when I'm creating here, let's say I want to have the entire journey. So step one, we'll just say lead created, and that will be assigned to the leads. Is that making sense?
Yes.
Okay. And we have it here, and let's call it new lead. And the trigger is when a lead is being created. You see here?
Right. And then farther along in that, it will be the new creation of a contact with certain criteria on it. And then we'll move them to the next phase of Command Center, next state of Command Center. Is that basically the idea set?
It's a conversion, not a creation. So here it will be converted lead. It will go on the contacts, because when you convert a contact. Right.
So it had to happen before that next state.
Exactly. So let's pull it here. And let's call it lead converted. And the trigger will be convert a lead. Okay?
Gotcha.
Now, if you want to make it only for specific leads and not all the leads, you can start to have here some criteria. So let's say when the lead source is chat and cold calls, only then it will run this funnel for you. If not,
Gotcha.
it will not do it. And from there, you can continue with deals. The only thing that I saw people a little bit being confused with the command center is that there need to be some kind of a flow. So if, for example, here you have new lead, then you have lead converted, then there is a deal, then there is a quote, you cannot do an action, for example, on a lead because the quote is not connected to a lead in any way. So there need to be some kind of a flow, and everything with the command center is just a flow of actions from one module to another, or from one area of the module to another area of the module. Is that making sense?
It is. So let's put a real world situation into that. So somebody comes to me, an agent has a borrower call me, and I get them pre-qualified.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go out and they go look for their house. They're bringing docs in so I can get them approved and all the rest of that stuff. And then they find their place, and then a contract comes in. So in that world, I already have them as a lead. I might have converted them to a contact. Who knows yet? I may have a deal on it, whatever it may be. But the contract can also be the place where somebody starts because they just get a contract. Now they got to go out and get a loan. So how do you have to do separate things for that? So you can go back and create. They don't have to necessarily be a lead, right? I mean, they can become a contact, and then all I got to do is just put them as a certain status, and then they can come into anywhere in that command center thing. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of having to go back and make them a lead.
So the thing is, you have here the start, and the start will be when a lead is being created. Mm-hmm. That's how the journey starts. You cannot start with a contact. Okay. So you need to have the entire journey in order for the command center to kick in.
Okay, so I mean, it would just be. In the real world, it would just be me picking up the phone. Let's say I got a phone call, and this is the first time I ever talked to him. Said, "Hey, we've got a contract." I just start him back and start him as a lead, enter in the basic information, have it convert, and then now I'm where I need to be, and I can just move on from there. I mean, that's basically the idea.
Yep. So if you have a phone call, you register it as a lead, and then you're getting the information. You click convert. You go here. Or from the beginning, you just skip the lead. Because if, for example, you can have one command center for phone calls and one for just online leads, which I think that they are totally different by nature. Someone that calls in usually knows you, right? He's not just dialing a random number and reaching you.
And more than that, they expect to have whatever request they have, whatever expectation they have needs to be met a lot sooner than somebody who does an email where you kind of feel like, hey, that can take a couple of hours. I don't have to be Johnny on the spot to make that work. And I agree with what I'm saying. I agree entirely that how it comes in the door changes how fast you have to react to it.
1,000,000%, absolutely. So let's say that if you have the command center for incoming calls, you can set here, for example, a deadline that you need to execute whatever they want from you in 2 hours or 3 hours, or else it will start escalating, sending an email, doing something.
Gotcha.
So, right? So you can take actions based on no action for this specific lead.
And part of the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to have an assistant within the next 6 months. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to have to think all of this through when it comes to that point. Hopefully if I have an assistant, I'll be so busy doing what I do that I'm not going to have time to get these kind of things done. And so in that world, when I assign a task to a different person, is that easier done in Command Center, easier done in Blueprint?
Blueprint.
Or is it in Blueprint? Okay. So I can just use this as a status thing, basically, so I can see at a glance where people are at in a particular line through deal, through the whole thing. through a whole journey cycle, right? I guess that's why they use that word. Whereas
Yes.
blueprint is like a very specific, do this, do that, then do this. You know,
So
if it's 2 hours late, then go do this.
So the way that I see, I have few things to say about what we just discussed. So first of all, we are entering now a very special time that business is going to be significantly higher than what it was before, even before the pandemic.
Sure.
Everybody's now are just thirsty for business. Every person I talk to, everybody just want to explode and get business done. And the next 6 months, this is the time to build your processes and be ready for the day. Because in the past year, lots of your competition died on the journey of trying to survive.
Right.
So this is a great time for all the people that actually survived. Whenever you will have new employees, you don't want to spend too much time on creating education sessions and after 3 months understand if this person is good or not. You want to do it after a day. And it's really taking me a day to understand if the person that I bring in is a good or not. All my business is based on blueprints. Each one of the processes, serving a client, creating a contract, assigning a tag, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Every process is a blueprint. And if the employee that I bring in cannot click on the buttons and he cannot execute click by click, it's not a good match. And for someone to learn how to click on buttons that's saying, very specific, click here for a new lead, click here if the client is interested, click here to book an appointment. If the person do not understand those basic buttons, it's not a good match. But this is why a blueprint can change your business, because it's so easy to click a button that's saying what you need to do next. And all the smart things taking place in the background.
So right now I'm working with Luis to get this up and running, and since I've got an American holiday week,
Thursday.
I've got 5 days in front of me. I have an outside company who has a bona fide process that I want to map out onto here.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be smart for me just to do the outline in something like Lucidchart and then come back and try to put it on there? Or can I just go right into Command Center, which is basically the same sort of thing? Maybe not do the very specific stuff like send an email or do that or whatever it may be. And then that way I can identify where the blueprints need to be. What's the smartest workflow for this particular circumstance?
So think about it like you have two areas of your brain competing. One area is the high level, the creative part that is thinking about the process. A different area of the brain is about the details, what happened in each click. You cannot run those two areas of the brain at the same time. It's like managing your business and working on a specific policy. It doesn't work. We need to be or high level or detailed. If you will start with the high level, creating the diagram, you're not connected to any application. You don't need to think of execution. You're just thinking of the flow, of the process. This is the high level. And that's relatively easy to do for most people because they can just see, they know their business. They're just putting it on a visual diagram. The execution part can be challenging because now you're dealing with software, with new functionality. So I believe that if you go with a diagram, you put everything there, you have maybe a short discussion with Luis or myself about everything that you planned. And while you're talking about it, or maybe with your business partner, but when you're talking about your diagram and your thoughts, you will have different understanding about your process. You do another refinement, and then the execution will be a breeze because it's just drag and drop. Is it making
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, I think that the best thing for me to do is see if I can get the 30,000-foot view, the big picture on the 3 different processes that I want to go from start to finish, and just make sure that they at least connect to each other in some way. And then I can go back after that and say, well, I'd like for this to happen between here and here and here and here, and get into that level. And then I need to talk to you guys, and we need to figure out how to hammer it in to Zoho. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, and the Zoho part will be relatively easy when you know what needs to be done. As
Okay.
long as you know, because you are the artist, you are the professional. We don't know your field. But as long as you tell me what you want, and as we're doing always, we're just asking questions, and from those questions we refine the process a bit, then the execution is nothing. It's just drag and drop, few clicks, and it's done.
It's hard to build a house without a blueprint.
Absolutely. I can't understand businesses that functions without blueprints. How can a business, bring new employees? Are you going to train an employee every time that you have a new employee? You're training him from scratch. Who is training him? How much manpower goes into the process? And also the owner is 100%, is giving 80% to his manager. The manager is giving now 60% to the employee. So also knowledge is being lost on the way. While when you have a blueprint, it's just buttons. You click, something happens in the background, you have a solution. And that will stay forever. I can't get it. Businesses without blueprint. Can't.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. I'll probably be trying to schedule something with you next
Sure.
week, late next week. Luis and I are still on the phone right now, and we're both watching this right now, so we can figure out how to make that next step. But anyway, thank you for your time.
No problem.
I'll try to. Luis can probably talk to you next week, and we'll figure out how to go from there.
Absolutely. It was good talking to you, my friend.
But you want me to ask another question?
Yeah, of course.
I'm just joking.
Let's see if someone else has a question before that. So I will just let other people also be in the session.
Well, I'm gonna get out of the meeting. I'm gonna go and talk to Luis and be done with that. So
no problem. Thank you,
Bye.
Wade.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, let's see, Lucas. How do you help companies to go abroad for custom fields, translation, and some other stuff? Lucas, do you have a way to speak, by the way? Hey, Lucas, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
Good. Where are you from, Lucas?
France.
France. That's a nice place to be. How is the weather right now?
It's quite good, actually.
Yeah, it's not too cold?
No, it's fine. It's about 15 degrees Celsius.
15, it's Canadian summer. That's amazing. Okay. So what's exactly is the question, Lucas?
It's quite general. Actually, we are only on the French market,
Mhm.
and we are recruiting new employees in Germany, in UK, and I'm in charge of finding ways to manage to change our CRM into something more international, convenient.
Okay. How many people do you have in the company?
Actually, around 100.
100. And when did you start with Zoho?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. And until now, everybody worked in English or one language?
No, in France.
In French. In French. Yeah. There is a way. Let me just show you. So when people have their personal settings, in the personal settings, there should be a way to have personalization. Email, profile. I need to find it. Yeah, here it is. Local information, you see?
Yes.
So if I will change it to a different language, which probably I don't need to because I don't know how to go back after, but that will change the language.
Yeah, you can easily change it. I've done it before. But for the custom fields, do you know if there is a way to change
Yes.
it to adapt?
Yes. If you go to the translation section, you can have a different type of translations for each language, and you can play with it. I do recommend you to download, not download, but to register to, let's say, one license Zo1. Do the translations there. Just play with it and see that everything is right, and do the same things on your live system. The main reason is that the translation, let me just export one just to show you. The translation is working on your entire system, not only fields. So if you upload the wrong translation, that can be devastating. Okay, so you see here you have not only fields, you have everything in your system. So it's a very, very serious thing. I'm not saying don't do it, for sure do it, but play with it on a different system. You're getting like Zo1 for 30 days free trial. Have multiple users, multiple languages, play with it, see how it works. And if you're happy, do the same on the live, but do not use the same translation file from the free trial to the live. Okay, it will mess things up in a ways that you don't want to even to know. Okay, very, very bad.
Okay. Can I do it on the sandbox? Or
that's a good question. Let's check together. I have no idea. Never tried it. Let's see. Okay, that will take about a minute or so. Do you have any other questions while the sandbox is being created?
No, I don't think so.
Easy client.
Maybe you can share a short experience about one of your customers that went abroad, if you have one.
If someone went abroad, you mean they have more branches?
Yeah, if you have helped a company to go abroad with their CRM.
Yeah, I have clients on every continent, in almost every country, in the Middle East, Europe, North America, South America, Asia, Australia. It's all over the place. Zo is very good to work with different people in different countries. So, and that's like out of the box. There's nothing I need to do.
Okay, great.
There is no translation.
Okay, so I needed to do it live, yeah. Maybe
yes, but before go live, the reason that I ask how many people you have in your company is because of that. If there will be something messed up, you have 100 people on you. That's it's going to be a very, very sad day. So play with it on a free trial. You don't need manager's permission. It's free anyway. Open a free trial, have 2-3 more people on it. Change the translation. If everything is good and you like what you see, do the same on your main system, and do it whenever, like in a day that no one is working. Because every time that there are changes on the system, this translation table is changing all the time. So you download a copy. While it's downloaded, people work on your system. You upload a new copy, and now you're overwriting what they did. Is it making sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. So translation, it's like fire. You respect it, but you also use it, right? So it's same here. Use it, but respect the power of this tool. It's very
Yeah, I
powerful.
get it. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
No problem. Let's see if we have more questions. We have 7 more minutes. David. Let's see if we can get David's grant microphone. David, how are you?
Hey. All right, how we doing?
Super. How's everything?
Going good.
Very good.
But yeah, from that meeting. So when we were talking, I don't know if you remember from the other day, but
Yeah, of course.
about linking books, and you were going to get me in contact, and I'm working on my order form. So with Flow, that'll connect to books also, like with the order form. I can have it do some like add the customer or from the CRM, then add the customer into
Yeah,
or that credit card information automatically. You remember how we weren't sure how that might work? I was just thinking when you use Flow that maybe I can get those fields, you know what I mean, right into books.
So QuickBooks, you're talking about QuickBooks, right?
No, ZoBooks. No, ZoBooks.
Oh, so with ZoBooks, of course, that you can do it. So if I'm going here, so is it Zo CRM to ZoBooks?
It will be, yeah.
Okay. So this is the flow that I'm going to create. And you can see the similarity. I don't know if you've been at the beginning of the session, but it's exactly the same. You have here 3 different options: app, schedule, and webbook.
Yep.
We're going with an app.
Yep.
The app will be surprisingly Zo CRM.
Yep.
And let's click on next. And now, what is the trigger when you want an invoice to be created, for example?
Yeah.
Do you have a trigger or not yet?
Well, no, I don't have a trigger yet. But the point is, I'm collecting the information, and then some of that information is after the order has been received. We haven't scheduled it yet, but I want to get all that information into books as it because now it's already in the CRM.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to create it. We're not creating it, right? You know what I mean? At the same time as we want to invoice. Do you know what I'm saying? Have it all pre-done.
Yes. So usually, I never built a flow that's doing it. Usually I'm doing it using a button. So if you think about it, you have a specific deal.
Right.
I will have here a button that will say create invoice or create quote.
Yeah.
And then it's doing the magic. So that's what I'm doing. If I wouldn't have the capabilities of doing it, I would probably try to do it with ZoFlow. I just never did it before. I don't expect it to be a big problem.
So
because
my question is, since you just brought up something that this will turn out. So when I create an invoice in books, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Then I have to go back up to the payment part and say charge card. Is there a way to make it so when I say create invoice, actually just charge the card when I hit the save button instead of after I hit save, go back up to charge the card?
Let me show you something very, very cool.
But
let me show you something very, very cool.
Yep.
Okay, so let's say that I have here an invoice.
Yeah.
Let's create a new one. You see on the bottom, where is it? I don't have a setup gateway. Okay, so let me just explain what you should have. Once you have a setup gateway, let's say Stripe or PayPal, on the bottom you will have here 3 options. Option number 1 is just to create an invoice. Option number 2 is create an invoice and automatically mail it to your client. Option number 3, create the invoice, send to the client, and also charge the credit card. Yes.
I noticed that down there.
Of course, there are tons of features. It's a very big tool, Zo Books. Now, when you're going to a specific customer, on the right side, you see you have more.
Yep.
Okay. You have the ability to load. I don't have integration with a billing like Stripe, so I won't have this option. But you have one more option, which is request credit card details from the client.
Yep,
So
I know that one. Yeah,
very good. So
yeah.
so they send a create invoice, send to the client, and charge the client is working based on this feature. So it's grabbing the same credit card, processing it, doing the entire shebang for you.
Right. So, but if they don't have a credit card on file, it's going to send that other email.
If
It says request credit card information. Is that what you're saying? It's going to happen.
if there is no credit card on file, I have no idea how the third option will work because it cannot really do anything.
Work because there's no card on file. Right.
That's right. That's right. But
Okay.
they have great features here. I really like Zoho Books. One day I will make some kind of a course on it. But it's a very, very nice application.
But with Flow, as the order comes in with the credit card information,
Mhm.
we'll able to update the credit card information that's already in Books.
Let's
If they
see.
give you a new card or
So let's see. Let's go to Zoho Books. Okay, let's see what are the options. So those are the triggers. So when account is being created, account updated, bill, credit, customer. So you have customer payment received. This is not the case.
no, it's yeah.
Invoice created, maybe?
Maybe. Well, yeah, because I would say an invoice or I would say my order would be actually considered an estimate because it would get converted afterwards. I mean, we don't call it an estimate; we call it an order because it could still. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can say an estimate, maybe create on an estimate.
So when an estimate is being created, and let's see in the decision what we have. I have something in my testing environment, but we need to see what
The
is-
options are afterwards.
yes. It's look, Zoho Flow, it's all about playing with it, and you will be surprised how much functionality you can get out of this tool, right? Beautiful.
Right.
I really like it. It's very nice.
Okay. Yeah, it's something I'll play with. But yeah, all right. So now
Yeah.
it's something. Yeah. Because. Yeah, I'm just thinking out. I'm thinking my head's all spinning. I'm like, oh, all the possibilities that can happen right now.
Right. It's endless. With what I found with Zoho, because lots of time clients are asking things, I'm calling Zoho support and they're saying no, and then I am able to find a solution, and that's most of the time. The reason is that Zoho support will help you with things that are known, stuff that is out of the box and ready to be used. But
Right.
if you just take two different ingredients from Zoho, you merge them together, you finally have a new product, a new solution.
I was looking at it. I'm like, well, I can't connect these two the way I exactly want to, but if I go through these 10 steps, automatically it's the same as going the way I wanted it to begin with.
Yeah. So it's just being creative, right?
Yeah.
Just step back and try to see all the tools that you have, which right now there are 50 applications as part of Zoho One. Unheard of. You have so much inventory to work with, and from all this Play-Doh creating a beautiful castle.
Right, because you can use one tool to trigger something else that will actually connect you to the one you actually wanted to do.
Yeah.
And if it's all happening in the background, you really don't care if it went through those.
Yeah, I don't care.
Right, because you did it automatically regardless. It's just.
Yeah. I don't care as long as I get the solution and it doesn't cost me more. I'm golden. I'm happy.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, sir.
No problem. Perfect. Thank you, guys. We're 2 minutes after. Sorry about it. Thank you very much for your time. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.